Hey guys, this is Hex, and before I get started with today's video, I wanted to give a heads up on what's going to be happening this Thursday. I'm not going to be uploading any kind of video on that day because there's actually some stuff that I need to do. So I do apologize for that. But rest assured, this is not going to be a constant thing where every week I'm going to be flipping back and forth. There's going to be rare instances where I actually have things that I must do or take care of that take priority. So you'll either wind up getting a video uploaded the day after Thursday or the day before. So I do apologize for that. But today's video, I'm going to talk about the game Skyforge. My first impressions of it. Skyforge is an MMORPG that has been out on PC, I want to say about 2 years or so, and it just recently came out on the PS4 last Tuesday. I don't know if Xbox One has it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But anyway, I've been playing it for about a week, and I've had some pretty good impressions of it. I've gotten uh, some pros and cons out of it. Now, the pros and cons, which I do on every impressions video, these are subject to change because, like, especially like in an MMO, where it's really hard to give like a big, huge final impression after only a week. I mean, to me, in order to get that, in order to get like a final impression, you're gonna have to play it way longer than way longer than that. And plus, you have to kind of factor in the fact I don't play all day and all night on something. I'll play for a few hours on it, uh, but at least 4, maybe 5 max. But you won't see me spending all day and all night on it because I just I get bored of those things really quickly. My attention span is like that of a fly. Uh, but anyway, Skyforge. The interesting thing about Skyforge is that it's kind of a mixture between sci-fi and fantasy. So if you don't mind those genres melded into one, I think you really get a big kick out of this. Another interesting thing that Skyforge does that makes it uh, stand out among the rest that I've played, the rest of the MMOs I've seen or played, is the ability to switch classes on the fly. You, of course, generate a character, and you start out with 3 classes that you can switch between, which is the cryomancer, which does ice-based magic, the paladin, which is like a sword and shield type of person with a little bit of magic thrown in, and I believe it's either light bringer or light bearer. I can't remember what the third one was, but that's kind of like your healing, you know, slash protection class. There are a lot more classes that you unlock through the game uh, that I can't really think of. I think Barbar or Berserker, I think is one of them, but I can't really remember like the rest of them. Um, but like I said, in the middle of like, after you've like fought some critters and you decide, well, maybe this uh, class isn't working for me currently, or maybe you're in a group that has like a lot of tanks and maybe no healer, you can actually switch your class right then and there. So I kind of think that's really interesting. Uh, but as I said, I'm going to go into the as I said before, I'm going to go into the pros and cons, and of course these are subject to change as I've mentioned. Uh, I'm going to go ahead and start with the pros first. What I really like about this, and this may not be a thing for some people, but what I like about it is I didn't feel the urge to pay for anything because this game is currently for free. You download for free. You can play for free. I've seen games like Neverwinter, which is free to download, but it just seems like they're constantly trying to get you to buy stuff, constantly, and it's annoying because and I know it's a choice, but when they keep throwing it in your face, it kind of gets a little bit annoying, and it kind of turns me off from the game, which is the reason why I don't play Neverwinter anymore because I just got tired of it. But with Skyforge, yes, the options are there, but it's not really pushed on you a whole heck of a lot, which is a big plus for me. It's not a distraction. Uh, Graphic wise, as you can see, it's quite beautiful. I mean, it even put. I mean, I thought Neverwinter wasn't bad, but this blows Neverwinter away. Very very beautiful game. I love the weather effects on it are nice. Um, how it feels. With the when you cast magic. How it looks. I mean, it's really really good. Um, the customization, of course, is nice. Where uh, when you're making your character, uh, you actually because there's some MMOs where you can't specifically change certain sizes, like breast size. Which I mean, I'm not to sound like I'm some kind of weird pervert or something like that, but I love really deep customization. Like if I'm creating a female character and I want her boobs like really small, or if I want them really big, or if I want like a certain hairstyle, or want her tall, short, whatever. I love having a huge amount of options to choose from, and the customization on it is very very well done. Combat and spells. The combat is actually really good. It's very fluid. It doesn't feel awkward at all. Really got into it. Spell wise, same thing. There's certain spells that that you can cast instantly, and some spells that you kind of have to put like a circle down, like an area effect to cast it. And when you cast a spell, like there was one that was like a it was I can't remember the name of the spell, but it's kind of like you're casting this huge snowstorm that's like kind of like in a hurricane, and it is like fierce as hell. It just looks so damn good. I wish I had footage of it here, but I don't think I do because this is like early play through footage, so I don't think I acquired that. Oh nope, there it is right there. Actually, it actually looks so cool and so massive. But yeah, the combat and spell casting is just great. Quest wise, it's not bad. It's for the most part, going and killing monsters, and there's some that you have to do where you have to kill certain like bosses or specific groups of monsters. Um, and you know, I haven't really. I think there's a couple of fetch quests, but it's not overbearing. And there's some where you have to like mark certain places and stuff. But overall, it's a nice mix of stuff. Uh, that's kept me engaged. I mean, I haven't really been bored once since I've been playing it. Um, the con wise, there is occasional bad acting. I mean, it's like, but like any MMO, you're gonna have like really good acting at some points, and you're gonna have like horrific. What were they thinking acting? And this is that same thing where I've seen some really good acting on there, and then there's some that's just like they really should have gotten somebody else to actually do the voice acting on that. Um, there's also from time to time, if there's a like a cut scene, there's the occasional poor lip syncing, uh, and it's not distracting enough to where I'm just like, oh, screw this game, I'm quitting. But it is quite noticeable. Uh, and I was kind of thinking, man, it's like would have thought they would have done a better job on that. But it is what it is, and it doesn't. I mean, it's not like it's game breaking or anything like that, and I can put up with it. But if you're one of those people that are a stickler for precise, 100% lip syncing, then you're going to be hurting because it's not here. Um, and one thing I noticed too that, and this is early on, and I think they had an update for it not too long ago that may have fixed it. Um, but when I first started, there was a habit of, when you're talking to somebody, their dialogue would cut off at the very end. Like it would have like maybe 98% the dialogue that they were speaking, but when they got to like the final, let's say 2 or 3 words, it just cut off for no apparent reason. Which luckily, the text is up where you can, read what they're saying. But still, I'm hoping that, I don't recall ever it being more prevalent as I've been going along through there. So I think they fixed some of the issues. Uh, so if you guys start playing it and if you notice at the beginning of the game, just let me know, and then we'll know, whether or not they had fixed it or not. Um, One of the other things I didn't really like about it was the mapping system. Now, as you can see, you have like a mini map on the top right, which is fine. And if there's somebody that you need to talk to or maybe something you can interact with, it shows up on that mini map, or on the mini map. But unfortunately, the the big map where you see everything, it's kind of like a pain in the butt to do because it isn't as simple as just like hitting a button and then it pops up. No, you have to, on the PS4, you have to hit your options button and you have to scroll over to where the map thing is at and then hit it, which I think is a lot of trouble to do. It should never be that much trouble. And plus, the main map, when you're looking at it, doesn't have the icons of what you can interact with on on the main map. But it's like, why in the hell would you not have that on there? I just didn't get that. I'm hoping that they'll eventually fix that up in maybe a newer update further down the line, but they really need to straighten that out. Um, Another thing that I really didn't particularly care for is uh, they do have the ability to communicate with other players via chat voice, which is fine. But if you're one of those people that are kind of shy about talking to other people via a microphone, there is no text option on this game at all, and I think that kind of hurts it a little bit because somebody might be apprehensive getting in their group and trying to communicate. You know, if they're shy or what have you, they may not want to do that. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they'll eventually put some sort of text option on there. But I've noticed too that even though the voice option is up, I've heard nobody talking in the game at all. I haven't heard anybody, even on group instances, I have not heard anybody talking. Uh, and to me, it kind of, and when that happens, I kind of feel like there's not, I mean, there's a community there, obviously, because you see people in the hub that are running around all over the place, but you don't really see too much interaction between people as far as like communicating via voice. Uh, but like I said, I think the lack of text hurts it. But um, as far as like what you can play single player wise, there is quite a lot as far as the story goes. In fact, I gotta say there's too much. I mean, yeah, there's quite a bit there, but when you compare it to like, because when you're going on single player, of course, obviously you don't see anybody but yourself. But when you're out, there's areas that you can go into where you actually see like a lot of people and everybody's doing their own thing and fighting monsters, and so on and so forth. Um, but there's very little, but there's not really a whole heck of a lot. I mean, there are, but compared to like the story, there's nowhere near as much as there is in the single player, in my opinion. To me, for an MMO, there needs to be a bit of a balance, and to me, that's kind of off balance, off balance. And I've looked a little bit forward on the maps, and it just seems kind of like it's a little uneven. But we'll see as I go a little bit further. That might change because I didn't look at all the maps. I just looked at like a few. Um, as far as my impressions of Skyforge overall, um, I think it's pretty good despite a few of the cons that I mentioned. But I think this is well worth playing. I mean, after all, it's free to buy or free to get, and it's free to play. So why not try it? Especially if you like MMOs. But that's all I wanted to talk to you guys for today. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I hope to talk to you guys real soon. Take care.